It's time once again for Scholastic
Podcastic!
Welcome back to Chapter 25 of Scholastic Podcastic. I'm Brent.
I'm Tom.
I'm Quinn.
And I'm Aaron.
On today's episode, we'll be talking about Animorphs number 11, The Forgotten, written by K.A. Applegate and published in September 1997. I'm sure we're going to get into this. This is inspired by what Marco says multiple times, that there's a hot-looking monkey in this book. So what I'd like to know is, it can be, take this how you may, I would like to know what okay, specifically, what like hot cartoon character? Okay, like, let's pretend it doesn't even have to be 1997, but like, let's pretend like in your childhood, like what cartoon character, preferably an animal, did you have did you have a crush on? Yeah, because again, I know we're gonna get into this hot looking monkey in this book,
obviously,
but I would like to know who you are and what cartoon, preferably animal, you had a crush on.
All right. I think I'm ready.
Oh, go Tom.
Okay.
It's an easy one. Guys. All right. So I'm Tom. I guess the childhood cartoon hot looking animal is Roxanne from the Goofy movie.
Oh,
Goofy's wife?
No,
no, she's
Max
dead.
Yeah, she's dead. No, the girl Max is interested in.
Oh, yeah.
Don't talk about
R.I.P. I'm sorry. I'm going to pour my drink out for
Goofy's dead wife.
Pour it out for Goofy's dead wife.
Oh, Jesus. Hi, I'm Aaron.
Hey, wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Oh.
Don't you have any questions for Tom about is she, what kind of animal?
I gotta look her up.
I think it's a dog of some kind. I think they're all dogs.
As soon as you say, I know exactly. I have an image in my head now. Thank you for that.
Roxanne.
But yeah, what kind of animal is a Goofy?
Goofy movie.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure everything in there is a dog.
She is like my same haircut. That's cool. Okay. Interesting. She's basically a person with a dog nose. It's my assessment.
Fair.
Well, and she's like, what's the Lola Bunny from Space Jam, where as soon as you have a lady cartoon animal, they are significantly hotter than their male cartoon counterpart. Because Bugs Bunny is just like a dumb rabbit, but Lola Bunny.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
Beasley.
Yeah, Aaron.
I feel like he had an answer that I cut off.
Yeah, you cut his answer off.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I'm Aaron, and I don't know if I was attracted to or if I wanted to be them, but Johnny Bravo. Now, he's a man, but he kind of acts like a dog. That's what I got.
Wait, this is not a fair answer. We're all picking it. Tom and I I'm gonna say an animal.
I said
an animal.
Johnny Bravo is very animalistic, though.
You said a man.
He's a man who's very animalistic.
A non-human man.
He is a human man.
He's
always hitting on ladies. He's buff as shit. He's got great hair.
So he's
I don't
doing
know what you want out of me. It's 1997.
do.
I'm just hanging out, okay? I don't have an animal that I was into. I was into Johnny Bravo and his pet dinosaur from that one episode. Whatever. Leave me alone.
I don't like that you're not participating in the game.
I am participating.
I don't like that you're not participating.
Tom and me, and I assume Brent, are going to lower ourselves to admitting animal cartoon characters that somehow were attractive to our human brains. And you're not yes-anding us there.
Well, because I wasn't trying to bang any animals.
Why don't you Google hottest lady cartoon animals
and
figure out which one?
I'm not putting that in my user history. Just keep, you guys
and
go.
it'll jog your memory.
You go.
I'll go.
What
Mine's
is the specific
easy.
search? Hottest?
Do you want to put female or do you want to just put hottest?
You put either one. Aaron, you didn't want to go with
cartoon animals.
Aaron,
Animals.
you didn't want to go with anything from the
This has
Disney
definitely been
Robin
like a Reddit
Hood
thread.
or
Yes.
like Nala
That's mine.
from
Down with
Lion
that, dude.
King.
Hold on, Tom. Thanks for that great segue.
Bro.
Like 2/3 of women are attracted to the Disney's animated Robin. And I'll go so high as 2/3 of heterosexual women. Man, that fox, very attractive. And that's what I was gonna say. The Disney's animated Robin Hood fox, a very attractive cartoon character.
I respect that. It's a good choice.
Thank
He's
you.
very charming.
He is. Ugh.
What about Slinky Dog from Toy Story? I mean, he's a toy, but he's also kind of a dog.
Oh my god.
That's
Is
what
that
you were
your
attracted
answer?
to. You were
I'm
attracted
trying,
to
guys.
Slinky
I like
Dog.
Grant, what did you
I like
find
Jim
in your
Varney's
search?
voice. What can I do here?
You don't
I'm
want.
just-
All right, and I'm gonna throw some more at you. Thomas O'Malley, Nala, Kerchak.
I don't know what these are. No.
Thomas O'Malley's from the Aristocrats or Aristocats.
Oh, one of the cats.
Do not remember. Never
Yep.
watched it.
Nala's the
Girl
lioness.
Okay.
From
Yeah,
Lion
and
King.
when I
Probably not,
searched
no.
for hottest female cartoon animals, number one, Lola Bunny, already mentioned on this
Obviously.
podcast.
Yeah, obviously.
And this picture of her, yeah, you get it. There's some fan art immediately that started popping up. This is a BuzzFeed article. It's pretty good because number two is the sexy giraffe from an Orangina ad.
Yep, I saw that one too.
Roxanne from a Goofy movie.
Damn straight.
Minerva Mink from Animaniacs. Oh, the forbidden Animaniac.
What are you talking about?
All the rest were completely fine.
Okay, well, before we get into that, I'm Brent, and I am going to say that. So, when I was very, very young, as in under 5 years old, probably 4, Tailspin was out, and all of the ladies in that, including what I'm now realizing is a child.
Oh god. Well, you were a child.
I was a child, so it was fine. She's got little overalls on, little bows in her hair. I don't even know what kind of what kind of critter that would be. But I distinctly remember that being like an imaginary friend, like a friend who would come to life. All right, the Tasmanian she-devil. This BuzzFeed article needs to stop. There's Gadget from Chip and Dale. She's, I think, in the same universe as Tailspin. Yeah.
The street sharks are pretty jacked. I guess I could say that.
Man, Aaron, you are the worst. I'm kicking you off the show.
Well, three good
I'm
answers.
just naming my truth,
everyone.
guys. I didn't watch a lot of Disney. I don't know.
It doesn't
Doesn't
have to be Disney.
Disney.
You are always talking about all these cartoons I didn't watch,
Yeah.
know anything about. You tell me there were no attractive
What about
lady
can I
animals
talk
on
about
that?
the man bat from the Batman animated series?
If
He
you are
was cool.
attracted to it,
I mean, again, I don't know if I want to be the man bat or if I want to bang the man bat, but he's pretty jacked and he's a doctor, so he makes a good salary until he becomes a felon.
all right, 3 good answers, everyone. What are we doing?
Three.
Animorphs, number 11.
Animorphs.
The Forgotten.
Who?
Hey fans,
wait.
I hope you do a lot of fan art of the 3 of our answers hanging out together, and that Aaron is excluded.
Aaron's just hanging out with Johnny Bravo.
Johnny Bravo's there.
I don't hate that, to be quite honest.
I never watched Johnny
wait.
Bravo.
It's all right.
Animorphs number 11. The Animorphs live, repeat, and die. Is that what this is? Is that
Yeah.
the
yeah.
alt title?
Live, repeat, die. Yeah.
Live, repeat, die.
Live, die, repeat. What is it called? Live, die, repeat?
I think it's. Is it? It's live, die.
It's
repeat.
got to be
Yeah.
live, die, repeat. Yeah.
It didn't even make sense.
Wasn't it called something
that.
about tomorrow, and then they like changed the name? Edge
Uh,
of Tomorrow.
Yeah.
Tomorrow will never die.
It's called that. They changed
Tomorrow
it
will
from
never
live,
Batman
live, die,
tomorrow.
repeat.
Batman tomorrow. Batman today. Batman tomorrow.
Okay. This is our third Jake book.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Ugh.
We're back at
Who-
it.
I'm willing to help out on this one because there is literally a page on this where Marco literally just summarizes the entire plot because it's so nonsensical. This is a direct quote that is in this book where Marco is speaking. He says, "We have moved permanently to Bizarro World. We've traveled in time. We're in a jungle fighting brain-stealing aliens and 10,000 annoying species of bugs. And our resident space cadet is a hot-looking monkey. Somebody wake me up when we get back to reality.
And then Jake says that at the same time.
At the same time.
Yep.
And then they Freaky Friday and switch bodies.
What?
No, that didn't happen. But what if it would have?
It's got to be one of the upcoming books, though.
Someone's got to do a Freaky Friday.
Someone's got a Freaky Friday in Animorphs.
It's right there in front of KA.
I would do it if it were with Jamie Lee Curtis. Not
Rachel and
Lindsay
Jamie Lee
Lohan.
Curtis somehow cross paths in Freaky Friday.
Yeah. Okay, the plot of this book. Let's
Sure.
see.
You got this.
So this one's weird because it kind of has shenanigans, but also kind of doesn't.
Agree.
So it's line dancing day at school, which was exciting. Jake, who is our narrator, starts having these like flashes where he keeps seeing like green and jungle, and then he like jumps back into his line dancing present and normal school stuff. And then Toby shows up and he's like, guys, you got a bird morph and you gotta come with me. And they do. And he shows them that at a Safeway grocery store that is apparently everyone in the town has just accepted that it is no longer in operation. You can see that it's like damaged from up above, and I forget if they can see what it is, but they know that it's a bunch of controllers and yerks in there, and it's being heavily guarded, and Tobias has like scouted this out. So then they decide they have to go in there. So I guess our first, if that's like a pre-shenanigan, the first decision is that they have to morph flies and go in and see what's going on. Now, in the process of planning that, this is Jake, so there's a lot of stuff about like, I'm the leader, I have to make the plans, and everyone looks to me to make decisions. So he's still having these flashes, and on the way to meet up with them, right as he makes the decision that they are going to morph flies and go in and scout this, he has his like premonition that this is an important moment. And it's raining, so they morph flies, and then it's like exciting. And they get in there, and it's a bug fighter that's like a new design has crashed into this Safeway. And a bunch of controllers, including Chapman, the assistant principal that we know and love, are trying to figure out how to repair this, I guess, like prototype bug fighter. And or else Visser 3 is gonna like be pissed. I suppose that's the motivation. And while they are scouting this, Tobias ends up coming in to distract. It wasn't a great plan. Tobias comes in as a hawk to distract all the controllers so that they can, Axe, who is with them as a fly, can fly this ship out of there. They want to steal it. But there are guards up top, so they get trapped, and they tell Tobias to also go into the ship. They're all in the ship. They fly the ship out of there. In doing so, they run into the Blade ship, home of Visser 3. Yeah, we're in space again. And there's like a bunch of kids in an alien spacecraft. Well, and one of them's a bird. And a bird in a plane. That's always weird. And then like something happens. And they shoot at each other and create what we come to learn is called a Sario rip, which is just a rip in space-time. And they very calmly crash land back on Earth in what we find out is probably a Brazilian jungle. And they figure out that because Jake has had these little premonitions only that day, it is they have probably only landed back like one day in space time, and that's why he was seeing what his other self was doing at that time through the rip. So that's cool, KA. Really going for it. And so they're in this jungle, and so is Visser 3 and a bunch of Hork-Bajir and Taxons and Yeerks. And what do? Let's think of the morphs. They morph monkeys. So the goal is they have to recreate what happened in order to get back. So they know that the Yeerks need their ship, and they need to shoot Dracon beams at each other at the same time again to reverse the rip. Yeah, it all makes complete sense.
Mm-hmm.
And Axe kind of explains it to him. He kind of doesn't know because he wasn't paying attention in Andalite school that day. And so they morph monkeys. There's a part where Rachel almost dies as a bear, and she almost gets like eaten by ants. There's a bunch of cool jungle animals that they fail to get the morphs of. There's a cool one that they become jaguars at some point. That part's cool. What else they do? Basically, it ends in a big fight because they're like, well, we have to recreate this before the exact time it happened, or we all die because we currently exist on 2 different timelines. So if we don't go correct the timeline, this is what Axe tells them. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me, but
we'll get into your segment where you critique it.
Well, I'm not going to critique it. I was just literally kind of sitting there staring, trying to figure. Time travel stuff is always kind of hard for me to understand because it always seems to contradict itself at some point. But this one had a lot. And then there's a very they meet some native peoples, and that part was interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And they kind of befriend them. And am I missing any morphs? I think they just did monkeys and jaguars. And then Visser 3 at the end, because he's basically just like, well, all I have to do is kill you guys, and then I can go back. Because I'll have the ship, and I'll just recreate what happened, and I'll go back. And he morphs this big, cool monster from the Hork-Bajir homeworld, something Andrish Thak, something. I don't know. And it has a bunch of vines and limbs and tentacles. And with the help of the native peoples and Jake's ability to turn into a monkey and realize a monkey would do well within all these vines and tentacles, he doesn't win. I don't even know what happens, really. I guess they all kind of die, or Jake died. And right as his spear handed to him by his new friend, the leader of the native peoples, I guess handed to him. Is he still a monkey when this happens? Anyway.
Oh yeah, you know it.
Yeah. And he is all of a sudden transported back right to the moment when they are deciding whether to go into the to morph flies and go into the Safeway. And he is the only one that knows that anything in this other timeline ever happened. Because at some point, they put together that because Jake was the only one having the premonitions, he died, or he was the only one who makes it out. So he effectively died in the other timeline. But I don't really understand what that means for the others. Maybe one of you could explain that to me. And that is the end of the book. So the book takes place entirely on a timeline that only happened in Jake's mind, or that Jake only knows about, and maybe Visser 3? Did the other people know about it? No. Okay, so
Nope,
just
we'll get
Jake.
into it.
Just Jake, and they go home and they have a nice laugh about it.
So
Is that a good summary?
It was a perfect summary.
Great, nailed
Thank
it.
you.
Absolutely.
Would it
Very
surprise
good.
you to know that Kay Applegate admitted that writing this book, she had a crisis and thought she had completely ran out of ideas and these books were off the rails, and she was like, I'm done, and she was thinking
That
about
makes
stopping
this make
series.
more sense. I get it now.
Yeah. I guess it's quoted. She said, well, that's it for me. Like, was done with it. But obviously that didn't happen because we have tons more in the series.
So many more.
Yeah. Man. Do you guys shop at Safeway? Because I'm at Safeway like once or twice a
Yeah,
week.
you guys
Yeah,
have a Safeway.
Safeway.
That's your
There's
grocery,
a Safeway
right?
right next to us. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's a terrible grocery.
Oh,
I
it's
don't have a
horrible.
convenient one. Yeah.
I would not be surprised if there was a broken down York experimental ship in the back where the meat's held, because I will not buy meat there. Like, it's like
No, it's not
above the
safe.
fridge most of the time. It's like,
Yeah.
I don't know if I'll get
Yeah,
some meat
like
back.
they have like this open fridge where they just set everything in, and it definitely does not stay at temperature. There's no way. Like you pick that
There's
stuff
no
up,
way.
it's room temp. It's like, oh yes,
What
this,
is it? I think 32 degrees for refrigeration.
Yeah, under 40, I think, is what you want.
Yeah.
But like,
Man.
yeah, I think usually like 32 is probably what the norm is. Yeah, you pick that stuff up, but it's definitely like 70 degrees. You're like,
I mean,
chicken.
It's convenient. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, it's
I mean,
right
I go there
there.
a lot, and I believe it's union, which I'm very for. I like that their
That's cool,
cashiers and
yeah.
stuff are union, so I will support it. But
So
man,
they store their meat in an unsafe way.
Yes.
I would say yeah. I mean that, and then like some of you can definitely tell they like hike prices on certain things, like frozen foods that a lot of folks maybe who are picking up because they don't have the skills to cook or the means to cook. Like those are all like crazily upcharged. Same thing with like soda pop. It's like pretty expensive there.
Mhm.
Yeah, but I still like it a lot. And again, I'm there at least twice a week. So thank you Safeway for being close.
They do nail it on that part. They are close.
They're very close.
I think there's one at like up by me. I don't go to it though. I should check it out. See how it is.
Yeah.
And I bet it's nicer.
Oh,
I
for
bet
sure.
I bet it's nicer.
Yeah, this one
We're in
is
a-
definitely stuck in the 70s. Like you walk in, you're like, oh, I just walked through time.
Oh, they actually got rid of their whole
Asario
produce.
Rip.
A
Just
Sario Rift happened,
Yeah,
and they literally got rid of half the store.
Oh,
and
really?
half their produce.
I haven't been there.
Oh,
in a
you don't.
minute.
That was like no. This was like 2 years ago.
Oh,
So you weren't there before it.
I wasn't there before it then.
there's a second Tom
Yeah.
there right now.
There
Trying
might
to
be.
lettuce.
Well, when he dies and my consciousness merges,
Oh my
Uh,
god.
Well, guys, this I forgot. This book came out September 1997, and you guys all know I'm a pretty hefty Virgo here. So 97, it was my birthday. I wanted to share with you guys. This was the moment where Burger King released the Universal Monster toys for Halloween,
What?
and I went on the journey with my mom to collect them all. And I never did until last year on eBay, and now I have them all, and they're sitting on my shelf.
Wait. What were the
Awesome.
toys? What were the toys?
You got a Dracula, you had a Frankenstein, you had a Wolfman, and you had Creature from the Black Lagoon, aka Gillman.
But what were they? I'm just imagining like the
Figurines. Little
Oh,
figurines
like
about
little
this
they're
action
like little
figures.
kids meals. Yeah, little
Yeah.
kids meals.
Were
plastic
there
toys.
boys in there?
yeah.
big. Wait, what?
Well, we just saw the Taco Bell toys for Animorphs.
Yeah.
One's got a boy in it.
Well, that's what made me think of it. I was like, whoa, there's no boy. Well, there isn't, but both Frankenstein's monster and Gillman are like see-through-y. They're like made of like a greenish, like see-through stuff. So it's
Wait,
kinda
so
cool.
what
I
did
don't
you? So which one did you not have until recently?
Well, the only ones I could get my hands on when me and my mom went, we went like I ate Burger King for like 3 weeks straight.
Nice.
Just every night we'd go to
What's
a
your
Burger
order?
King. And at the time, I would
Kids
just get the
meal?
kids meal because that's how you got it. But yeah, the only one I could ever get was the Wolfman and the Frankenstein. And then sometimes we'd check and they wouldn't have it, and I'd switch to just a Junior Whopper because that was cheaper. But yeah, so my September 1997 toys.
Pretty cool.
That's cool.
Wanted to share with it. That's when this book came out. I don't have much to say about the book, but I was excited to see September 1997 because I was like, I remember that as a kid. Like I remember like getting out of school and being like, we gotta go to Burger King because I gotta have these Universal monsters.
So even then, had you seen those movies as a child?
I don't know
no.
why I was into them. Yeah, I genuinely don't know why. I was just drawn to them.
Well, that's just like, not to skip to the very end of the book, but I'm going to, when K. Applegate says that in one of these morphs, I think as the what is this guy? Is this a cheetah? What is the big morph? Jaguar? I don't know.
Jaguar?
Big Morse Jaguar.
I don't know.
I love their cars.
Big cats. But Jake says that he's gliding like a ghost along the jungle floor.
Mhm.
And then later he says it was like some incredible theme park ride, like one of those haunted houses where each turn of the little car you're in brings you face to face with a new goblin or ghoul or skeleton. When are we going to get ghosts and in Animorphs? When are we going to get that?
I mean, I think we have to.
Tom is smiling like he knows that we're going to get ghosts.
There might be ghosts. I don't know.
Hey, you know what though? Marco also quotes Poltergeist in this, so maybe even more. He quotes Zelda's character, Zelda Rubinstein as Tangina.
I would like to point out that there are ghosts in Lord of the Rings, so the possibility is
Okay,
there
okay,
that
okay,
we
okay.
get ghosts.
Yeah, I mean,
So
whenever
you
they go
think-
to the final battle, one of them's
Ghost
gonna
army.
roll up
Whoa.
with a ghost army.
Do you think Jake's ghost is going to appear since he died in this one? Like
His second
ghost
second
appears.
Jake.
His second Jake
Second
shows up. He's like,
Jake.
Ghost Jaguar. I like that.
Could
Gonna
be
happen.
cool. Well, I guess we'll just have to keep reading to find out. Did your guys' schools do square dancing classes?
Oh, we had line dance club.
This is weird as shit to me.
Is it really?
no, we square danced in gym class. I remember that in
I don't
elementary.
remember that at all.
Yeah, definitely square danced in elementary. I don't remember in middle school or high school though. I don't think so. But yeah, like Neil Armstrong, I think is where I was at. I think we did it in the
Neil Armstrong was your gym teacher?
Neil Armstrong's my gym teacher, and he loved fucking square dancing. All he ever talked about, first man on the moon. I fucking love square dancing. Like those were his only personality traits.
You know, we definitely, I think in elementary, it was maybe just like an easy thing to do where it was like, you got to teach something. We definitely had to square dance or line dance or something like that in gym specifically. Man, it was just like a lazy thing. Now, when I was in 8th grade, and this is after night, so this is 1999 probably, we had our gym teacher who, again, there had to be this like, oh no, it wasn't a dance unit. Here's what it was. It was like, make a workout routine. And so here's the whole, this gym teacher hated all of us and we hated all of him. It was, we all
hated
understood.
all of
We
him.
all understood what the
Every
situation
part
was.
of it.
It was like, okay, so you have to make like a workout routine. And here's what that means. You have a song, you pick a song and you like choreograph. Cause this is the end of the 90s. It's like, you know, this idea of like, there's like
Jock jams.
not even, but just like there's like you do like a workout to like a VHS tape, and it's
You
like
did Zumba.
you follow a thing. And so specifically, my little group of nerds didn't practice for the 2 weeks or whatever that we had to do. The day of, this guy, what the hell was his name?
Full
Zach,
name.
probably. Just brought a System of a Down CD and just like picked a track, and we all just like did push-ups furiously. So we did that.
Have you mentioned that on this show before?
Probably.
It's pretty
Furiously
good,
doing
to be
push-ups
honest.
to the System of the Down.
Just, I had to
Man.
play like full contact sports. I know what. I wish we would have been doing like some jazzercise. Would have been cool.
Man, so I remember in 5th grade they made us shower. Did you guys have to shower in 5th grade?
Not in 5th grade.
No.
Middle school.
Nude, straight up showering. Yep.
Well,
Literally had to do it. It was like part of the curriculum.
wait.
The
The teacher's
telling
in
you.
there being like, take it off.
No, but the teacher would check your hair when you left. And it was a whole thing. I remember it's so fucking weird
Did
to me.
your
'cause
elementary school? Wait, so this is 5th grade. Were you in
5th
elementary
grade.
school?
I was in elementary school.
Did your
And
elementary
then-
school gym have like locker rooms?
Yeah, we had like not locker room like with lockers, but we had like a locker room with cubbies, and then we had a shower.
Yeah, we didn't have
we
those
didn't.
A
sort
shower
of
room.
amenities until even middle school.
It was just odd to me, and it was like part of like it's almost like when you're like in high school and they're like college is gonna be so much harder. Like I remember a gym teacher be like, "You're gonna have to do this. Like you're gonna have to do this. So get used to it now.
That's the
It's
laziest
not awkward. It's
teacher.
When
normal.
you all go to prison,
You're just gonna have to do this." So 5th grade, I remember like distinctly showering. 6th grade, we didn't have gym class anymore. I don't think.
Lucky.
Because we were doing like a weird thing where we were switching between rooms. We had 4 different classrooms, and we didn't go to gym. And then 7th grade, I remember I went to go shower because I thought I was supposed to, and nobody showered in 7th grade. It was like, we don't do that. Like that's weird. And I was like, fuck, they set me up for failure.
So the point at which boys are going through puberty and stink like
Need to shower.
ass and need to
So yeah,
shower.
didn't shower 7th or 8th, and then of course high school. You know, I did weights and I did water games, which was a class.
What?
Yeah, I don't know.
What
I
are
took a
water
lot of
games?
ball classes.
What are water games?
That was
Is that like
that
war
was
games? The only
Yeah,
one
but-
is not
yeah.
to play.
Basically, it was Center Grove. They had a really nice pool and a diving well, and so yeah, it was great. We did canoeing. We did water polo. We made up a bunch of weird games. Yeah, it was great. And then they would the coach would always make the water super like cold in the pool and super warm in the diving well. And it was an hour like and a half class or hour 15 class because we did block scheduling, so it was great.
Man, your
That was
gym,
that was A day, and then B day I did weightlifting, which was super fun
your
because I just
gym
did cardio.
trajectory is extremely bizarre to me.
Oh,
That
yeah.
whole story. There was like a
Yeah.
period of no gym, which never happened to
Yeah,
me.
it's so weird.
Yeah, I don't.
And then like
I don't. I mean,
the
maybe
shower.
I'm wrong.
Did you know? Like, so my middle school housed the pool, so we only showered when we swam.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think we swam some in gym. In high school, we would just have to go to across the parking lot to the middle school. And then, yeah, that's just, I always had gym. I remember we did roller skating once. That was fun. We had like a unit, but I didn't get to choose like a gym class where I got to like choose what activity we
Well, that was
did.
high school.
No, in high
E-
school,
even
just
that's
like
weird.
No.
Yeah.
I just like
Oh.
went to gym and like put on my gym
So-
uniform.
Dumb you.
The thing was, I know the guidance counselor said you shouldn't take these 2 classes, and I was like, yeah, fuck you, I'm taking these 2 classes because I wanted to do the least amount of work possible, and weightlifting and water games allowed that. There was another pool type class you could take. Now I didn't need these credits either. These are like these are not going towards a core 40 or anything. And then weightlifting you can only get credit for once, but you could take it every year if you wanted to.
Yeah, I guess later. I like don't know when my gym experience ended. Like I don't remember if I still had to go to gym like my like senior.
Oh boy, I just
Probably not.
Ninth grade.
did
Ninth
I?
grade was the
Hold-
last time we had to. I will.
Yeah, that's what I was like. Did it end? Did you just have to take it your freshman year? That
And
might
I
be true.
specifically broke my wrist that year. And the gym teacher, who was this old dinosaur, was like pissed at me as if I had done it on purpose to get out of gym class. And so me and the girl who actually was a great athlete and had like thrown her back out, she and I were being like punished. And he was like, go play ping pong or like walk laps. And we're just like, how about we'll just hang out at the top of the bleachers instead?
Oh man. So did you guys in any of your gym experiences ever have like a day where you didn't dress out to do anything and you had to like write like an essay or write something and like the gym teachers never read it?
No.
Okay.
I don't
Oh
know,
man. So
maybe.
Coach Todd one time in water games, we were hanging out. I don't remember why, but we couldn't get in the pool that day, and we all had to write like an essay or something. And everyone did it in like 10 minutes because who gives a shit? It doesn't matter. It's like participation. You turn something in, you get it. And somebody wrote like they started the first paragraph off like it was an actual thing about like I don't know their fitness philosophy or some bullshit, and they're like. And the second paragraph, like, well, we know you're not going to read this, so we're just going to say whatever we want. We think Jim is stupid. Like, just went off. Because typically the guys really didn't read it, like the gym teacher and the assistant teacher. But they did this time, and they came out and they read it to all of us in the bleachers, and we all fucking shit on that kid. It was great. Anyway.
All of your guys' gym experiences
You've hit your quota, Aaron. No more talking about your gym classic.
What do you... But, I mean, one more little bit. What do you think your paper was about?
Oh, I don't know. Probably water games. And I do know. Me and my friend sunk the canoe and we got in a lot of trouble.
Nice.
So then we had to talk about how we had to get the canoe out of the water, and it was a lot of work. But then all the other kids threw dodgeballs at us because that was allowed.
Yep.
So yeah, I think that's what I wrote about because it was a very fun experience, but it was also kind of traumatic.
Yep, that's fair.
That sounds right. Okay. Here's my first problem with this book. The last book I said I loved, and I did. This book, I enjoyed. Now that I know what Animorphs are, and I know that it's just going to get out of control, and I know that K. Applegate is just going to set up a scenario that doesn't make any sense, I'm here for it. However, I do have issues with this book. My first one being that in this book, and actually in the last Marco book, the way that the characters now introduce themselves, they say, I can't show what my name is, I can't tell you where I live. And then as they explain that Yerks take over people's brains, and they say Yerks could be anyone. It could be your mom, it could be your dad, it could be your principal. What if the reader of this book who is being addressed is themselves a Yerk? Because I feel like these books are being addressed to a reader. Mm-hmm. And so what if that reader has a Yerk in their brain and they're reading this? Because just because they're Yerks doesn't mean they don't love great young adult literature.
Yeah. So in this universe, thinking about that, where Yerks are potentially part of the audience for these books because they're writing them quote unquote anonymously, and the Yerks probably do know because Visser 3 is so angry all the time about these Andalites or these like morphers. Maybe they think it's like fan fiction, or do they think it's like basically like a blind item? Like, are they reading this like it's like a gossip thing? Like, oh, this is how these like kids outsmarted this guy we kind of all hate. Like maybe they like it. Maybe it's like contraband.
I like that theory.
It's interesting. I think you're both overthinking it. I think it's literally just a marketing strategy to get children to buy it.
If we're going on gripes in this book,
I'm not talking about reality. I'm just talking about how in the reality that KA is set up, Brent is correct. And I like the fact that the Yerks, if they were reading it, might be like, are they really humans that were given the power to morph? Or is that like fake? Because that's ridiculous.
I think
so. It's like an extra layer of like anonymity if they say like if they were like, name 5 human kid names,
right?
Like Jake, Marco, Rachel.
So do you think that this series that we're reading is like The Hobbit, and there's actually a very serious story of Bilbo Baggins that never actually got released? The actual historical version. This is just like the toned down kids version of that.
Yeah, like there's an actual Lord of the Ring. No, I think the actual serious story is the Andalite Chronicles.
Oh,
I think that's
The
it. Coming out
Cimmerian.
soon.
Okay, guys, here's my question. What did Axe do to not be part of the Animorphs anymore? Because in this book, they refer to it as the Animorphs and Axe. And from reading a bit about it, from here on out, Axe is always considered out of the Animorphs. It's always the Animorphs and Axe.
I think it's because being able to morph animals is inherent to him, whereas they had to become Animorphs. So
I'm
he's
just saying.
is an Andalite, and by his Andalite nature, can morph animals. But that's just him being an Andalite.
Yeah,
they
That would
up,
hurt my feelings.
Yeah,
They
if I was
made up
not
the
a part of the team.
idea.
Like if Animorphs is the team name, then he should be on it. But it
Look,
feels
I mean,
like
I
they're
don't think
they're not using
Axe
it as
gives.
a team.
I don't think Axe gives. I'm gonna curse. I don't think
Look at our world.
Axe gives a fuck. I don't think
You know
Axe
what
cares.
Axe did do? He did want to fuck when he was learning about these fucking Sario rips in fucking Andalite
boy.
school.
Mhm.
Because there was a babe
And there was a
there.
game. There was
Oh,
a
boy.
game that night.
We're gonna
Well,
get
there's a
to
game
it.
that
What
night,
kind
but
of
also
game?
a
What kind of
female.
game we didn't learn?
Andalite
I think you
games.
might learn in the Andalite Chronicles.
Yeah,
Hold
you
on.
might.
I have a question
Hmm.
that I wrote down. I wrote down 3 things while I was at work today. But I was only like 60% through the book at this point. I wrote down, will they, won't they? Mostly because I don't like that at this point we're still dragging out the fact that Cassie and Jake
Agreed.
like each other.
They
And I'm like,
literally.
guys, we all know.
Cassie,
I thought like 4 books ago that you guys were like an official thing and we could stop talking about it as if it was like, oh.
Cassie showed up
but
at
no.
gym class, and Jake was
Yeah.
like, "I'm gonna stop dancing with my hot cousin, and instead I'm gonna
He was
bring you
dancing
in.
with his hot gun.
Like I'm
I
gonna
was dancing.
like get in here,
I
babe.
know.
Like we're doing
it was
this.
so
Yeah.
good. I was
yeah.
like,
Can
Jake,
we assume that Cassie's still keeping Axe around as a side piece when he's morphed as Jake? I mean,
Yeah.
we don't know, like Tobias and Rachel, they're hanging out late nights. We don't know, but I am assuming that Axe lives right next to Cassie and is still coming over dressed, morphed as Jake.
Oh, yeah,
That's in my head canon.
Yeah.
I don't know.
They're doing some role play.
Some stuff out there. That's
Yeah.
all I'm saying. Maybe that's why Cassie's not making it official, because you know what? Why fucking buy the cow and you get the milk for free? Axe, get over here.
okay. The second
What are
I don't
thing
like what I just said. Let's move on.
Yeah, let's
The
just move
second-
past that.
The second thing I wrote down, and I assume, I mean, maybe not, but I was like, this would have been my first thought. I wrote down, couldn't they all just morph Axe?
Yes.
When?
It'll come
up.
When?
It'll
you,
come
when
up.
do you want them to? When?
When
Well-
it'll come up.
Because they're always talking about how, though the Andalites are odd, and I know he's like a youth, he's, he's an adolescent, he's not a full-grown Andalite, but they have a lot of advantages to their build, especially that scorpion tail. And so you're like, oh, Axe is like a hell of a predatory animal in a fight. And they're like, oh, I'm going to morph this wolf. And I'm like, I don't know, guys. If you had 5 axes,
Yeah.
that would be pretty dope in some fights. Now, you can still do your gorilla or your tiger or your elephant as need be. But I think every once in a while, having another axe is a pretty good maneuver, in my opinion. And I was thinking about that. Because they brought up in this book that you, and I assume it's been addressed before and I'd forgotten, that you can't like get a morph from somebody who is morphed. But then I was like,
Yeah.
so you could get Axe's form though when he's in his true Andalite form.
I think that's the first time they've mentioned the morph to a morph thing. I don't think they've ever mentioned it. They just never.
There
have
had
done
to
it.
be a limitation, or
Yeah.
else that.
Yeah,
would be
I think
wild.
somebody
Yeah.
probably wrote Kay and was like, "Why don't one person get the morph and everyone just morph that?" And I think Kay is like retroconning it and this being like, "Shit, yeah, no, you can't do that. That'd be ridiculous."
Yeah, but like they've also said in the other books that they have the ability to morph into anyone they touch. Like they can morph and look
Right.
like any human. They just
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
feel like it's morally okay.
They're
Well,
like yerks,
he's not a
then.
human. Axe is
Yeah.
an Andalite.
Oh,
And
okay.
this are-
Well, that's rude. Axe is still part of the team.
No, he's not.
He's not.
Established
He's
that.
officially
Animorphs
not.
and Axe.
All right, well, this is just speciesist.
Yeah. You're talking to
This
our
is
axe over
this
here.
is
Our
Andalite hate.
Tom
they
is
are
our
very
axe. That's
arrogant.
like when I say Scholastic Podcastic.
It's Tom. All right.
I couldn't even say it. Why did they let Axe go like that? Why'd they do him dirty?
They're doing him dirty.
Wait,
man.
who
man.
are the rest of us?
Huh?
I don't know who the rest of us are.
I'm Rachel. I think I got Rachel on both tests.
I'm Cassie. You're
Am I
Marco. Shut up.
Yeah, you're Marco.
God damn it, you're so Sardonic.
Tom's
Anyway,
our
so where
axe.
were we? Yeah, and I'm the axe.
Okay.
And Jake heads home
Nobody
to watch
is Jake because
pay-per-view.
Jake is so vanilla.
Okay, here's my issue with Jake in this whole book and in all of his books. Because in this book, because everybody has been, now that we haven't had 2 books for everybody. We still haven't got our second Tobias book. But now that we've got our third Jake book, we're getting like his issue, right? Like with Cassie, we kind of got like this conflict about like what's the difference between like this creature and that creature, who deserves to live, who deserves to die. Here's Jake's issue, and I don't love this. Jake's issue is basically like, I have to be a leader. Now here's the issue. It's like, no, that kind of hierarchy is bad for everyone, as we see in this book. Because so Jake, because he like look, at this point, I'm an old cis straight white guy too. I get it. It's like, it's impossible to ask anyone for help or like think that anyone else could do the same thing that you can do. But like, this is the issue with the hierarchy, is that like, no, like this whole book, Jake fucked up everything because he just refused to, 1, share the fact that he was having these visions early on, and then 2, ask anyone else for their expertise. Where it's like, so Jake's internal struggle is that like, oh, it's hard to be a leader. I don't love it. I think everybody else is getting a more substantial sort of like, I don't know, some like actual stakes for what they're up against. Whereas Jake's is just a little bit more like, have to maintain this like weird hierarchy and power structure, which doesn't help any of your other Animorphs, and it doesn't help you.
Or Axe.
Or Axe.
Or X. Now we have to
Or
distinguish
Tom!
the
For that
God
matter.
damn it. Speaking of Tom, not me, the other Tom. I was hoping that like by now maybe they'll do it more, but like Jake is the only one we know is living with a Yerk and is having to like basically put on a false face constantly at home, which should be like a safe space, and that I feel like should be his real struggle. Like,
Yeah, yes.
like
you're right.
he's living with a spy and he knows it.
But
Right.
instead, yeah, all that we get
But
is like this
instead-
one scene in this book.
Oh, the leader's so tough. Yeah.
Really,
I
I thought his
mean-
struggle was his family had money to buy a pay-per-view. I mean,
$40. Come on.
I'd have to go to the fucking
Yeah.
Buffalo Wild Wings down the road to watch a fucking fight like
Yeah,
that.
right? Jeez.
What the fuck, man? Come on.
By the way, have
Kidding
we
me?
met Jake's dad previously?
No, we have not. This is great.
Okay, and
think
so,
so.
okay,
No.
Beasley, I feel like this is your territory. So he's hanging out with his buddies Pete and Dominic for the
Yeah, I know.
pay-per-view
Toretto,
fight.
right? Dominic Toretto, is that it?
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
assuming it's Vin Diesel.
It's
I
Vin
would not have
Diesel.
left. I'd be like, I'm gonna stick around here with these fucking men and hang out and talk about this fight we just watched.
Yeah.
It went 7 rounds? Let's
Yeah.
go back. Let's just rewatch the tape. I don't need to show Marco. I'll show him later.
I
Maybe
want
if I
to see
hang
the
out here
tape.
long enough, I'll get a beer.
I want to see the tape, though.
Sorry, Marco. I'll show you tomorrow.
My dad's at his science job. Please. I want
Sucks
to
for
do
you.
something cool.
Hey, I'll sneak some beer out. Why aren't they sneaking beers and shit? These kids are so unrelatable. Get their shit together.
Yeah, they sneak into a concert in the last book. They didn't even do anything. They're just like, oh, I'm a robot.
They
This
want
one,
to
don't do
listen
shit
to
at all.
Alanis Morissette.
Yeah.
And they want to, I don't know, square dance, save the world, but never make an actual move on the girl you like.
Yeah, right? I mean, he pulled her in and made her do square dancing.
No, they've almost died so many times. And in every movie and every book, it's the near death that makes you go like, fuck it, life is short. I gotta go for it. I'm a teen. Hormones are raging.
So
she
this-
laid her head on my shoulder in the timeline no one remembers.
Yeah.
No.
This is the
I
second
can
time.
go for it. And he apparently doesn't.
This is the second time we have an Animorph death. Marco died in the last book. Like, his heart stopped and he died. And then the fucking androids were able to restart his heart and reattach Axe's arm. But Marco, for all intents and purposes, was dead for like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And in this book, Jake dies.
Mm-hmm.
And it's
Sure.
only Jake, because the other guys are projections,
Okay.
according
so,
to Axe in
hang
the
on.
jungle.
I can explain this, I think. I think I understood what they're going for. All right.
The time
so,
travel? Okay.
when
I'd like to see you try.
all right, so when present day Jake and the rest of the Animorphs get shunted back a day into South America, there is now the current Animorphs in America waiting at that Safeway, doing their do-si-dos and whatnot, and the other ones trying to survive in the hellish nightmare that is the South American jungle. And so while those are both going on at the same time, their matter is existing in two spaces at once, and that cannot happen. Matter can't exist, like duplicate matter can't exist in the same space. That thing that was kind of Axe's whole thing. But what happens at the end when Jake dies and his consciousness reemerges with present day Jake,
Yes.
I don't know, Beta, whatever, they decide not to go into the Safeway. And since they didn't go into the Safeway, they never get shunted back a day. So he's the only one that remembers just because his consciousness is the only one that merges. So basically everyone else ceases to exist.
But
Which-
how would he have ever been there?
Exactly. That doesn't make sense within time travel. It had to have been a multi-dimensional thing, but it wasn't. So, but that was kind of what they were going for. Is just
Yeah,
that
but-
he stops it before it happens. So they don't remember, only he remembers. But without having extra timelines splitting it, it never should have happened to begin with. Time travel
But, like,
stupid.
What about Z Space, bro?
What about in Z space? Where's the extra
about
matter
Z-space,
coming from,
bro?
KA? Where's the extra matter coming from?
Space, man.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll get to it.
Yeah.
That's
First-
a fine explanation.
time
Good try.
travel-
Good
yeah.
job, Tom.
First,
That's good.
we got to morph flies.
I'll
Fly.
consider
Yeah, flies.
letting you into the podcast.
Thank you. I would like to be back on this podcast if I,
I will.
could.
I will
Um,
consider you letting you back.
or
if you
or
continue-
you know what? If we want to change it to be like Tom and the Scholastic Podcastic, I'm fine with that too.
Do you what if you do it like when it's like the big actor who's like on the show and they're
Yeah.
like
Yeah, that's what
with
I want.
Right.
special appearance by or like
Oh, okay. Special appearance
featuring
by
like
Tom.
like
Oh,
like
yeah,
you're
yeah.
at
If he
the
gets
end.
an and, I want to with. Like, come on. What are you getting
Like-
me?
Well, no,
No,
I
it's
want
like-
I want my name to be first. You guys would
No,
be the and.
I like when you're like the biggest name.
I like
but
that too.
It's just like thrown in at the
Yeah,
end.
yeah.
Like, oh, and
Oh,
you all know
also-
who this person
yeah.
is, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll take it
Okay,
under
okay.
advisement.
Yeah, we'll workshop it a bit. So we're
No
morphing
one
into
put Marco
flies.
in fucking charge. What is happening here?
Marco takes
You're
charge
too
by
sardonic.
acting
You're too
like
sardonic.
he's in
This is
charge.
what we need a Jake for.
No.
No,
I trust Cassie. Cassie, lead us in.
no. Animals
She's too
in the
soft.
earth know things too.
Let's murder it.
Okay, we're morphing flies. We're
we'll
flying
morph
across
flies.
the dang old highway to get to that Safeway to
it's
begin with.
So dangerous.
Wait.
Okay.
Why not fly over the highway? It makes no sense, but
Because flies stay low to the ground because that's where the poop is.
Yeah.
There's no poop in the air.
all right.
There's nothing interesting about that morph. Okay, next.
No, that's why I was
there
like,
really
I don't
isn't.
want to
We
talk about this
find-
more.
There's the crashed. There's
We
the
got
crashed
there.
bug fighter. We're like, okay, here's what's going to happen. We're going to steal it, and we're going to drive this bug fighter to Washington D.C. baby.
Oh, the president.
That'll show them right on the White House's lawn.
That was me. That was me. I said that. Marco.
Guys, okay, I know we need to move, but like, did you guys want Axe to be like fuck this shit, I'm going home. And like fucking like
Run
put that
off
thing
into
and
the
just
woods.
shoot out to the world.
Oh, just take off with the ship.
He's like, yo, dude, I tried to do this like 5 books ago. I
Oh,
got
yeah.
one. I'm out.
I was confused because the controllers were all like looking at it, being like, "Oh, it's like broken, and we still need to fix it." And they were like, "No, we can fly it." And I was like, "You literally just heard them say that maybe you couldn't."
And it's Yerk technology, right? I
Yeah.
mean, like Yerk's made
And it
this.
was designed for taxons.
Right.
Yeah.
So, whatever. There were a lot of flaws in every part.
Hey,
Yeah,
hey,
there's a lot
Axe
of
lives
stuff
his
there.
life a quarter mile at a time. He didn't know. He just wanted to get in there and go.
Mm-hmm.
He did.
Yeah, that's what they did.
He
They
crashed.
steal it. Oh, I bet it's because their radar was broke. I think that was it. Like the radar needed fixed because as soon as they took off flying, F-16 started heading their way, right?
That's
Like
right.
they got clocked
That
on
was
the
my
radar.
favorite part of the whole book
Yeah.
because I was like, finally, we are acknowledging that people would notice that weird shit has happened.
Yeah. So I think that's
'Cause
probably
you-
what was broke was just like the radar function.
Oh, like
Or
the
like
cloaking.
The
like,
cloaking, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's probably why they couldn't take off.
I just like that in this world, they were like, oh, it crashed into the grocery store at night, so no one noticed.
Yeah.
And I
Get the
was like,
assistant principal.
that would be, 1, very loud, and 2, aren't they in like a metropolitan area?
Yeah, right?
Like, it's not like this is a remote grocery store.
Well, this is something they said. They all live in the same neighborhood.
Yes,
which I
I
didn't
Yeah.
noted
think was
that.
true.
Marco must have moved.
Marco,
He did.
moved
Moved up in the
Was
world.
got a
they didn't
job
talk
again.
about that. Yeah.
Okay,
So-
I didn't notice that.
The only
I was
person
excited
that was,
for him.
like further out from their subdivision,
It's Cassie.
basically, is Cassie.
Out
And
on
she
the
doesn't live
farm
that
on
far.
the edge
She's
of
like,
the national forest.
yeah, but it's a weird. This geography's weird.
Yeah. Everything's very far away, but really close.
Whatever.
It's interesting.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyway.
It's okay.
Yeah,
They
so,
can just morph gorilla and drive a car.
Hey,
It's
just
fine.
move a gorilla, drive a car, no one will question it.
Wreck Cassie's dad's truck again. That poor veterinarian.
I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, so they
yeah.
go into space, they run into Visser 3's sweet blade ship.
Can I read you the third thing I wrote down at work?
Is it
the
fanfic?
description of the blade ship? Because it could be fanfic.
No, I wish I couldn't find a good one.
Well, after you read this, we're going to open it up.
Okay, I was disappointed when I looked at how far I was into the book when this was happening because I was like, hell yeah, I like the idea of a spaceship battle. Basically like a barbarian versus a rogue. Like you have this big ship and you have their tiny ship. And I don't know. I thought that would be exciting. But instead, so I wrote down, finally, the last starfighter, they should use Death Blossom. Because that's what I thought was going to happen. Because you had Jake and Marco on the controls being like, this is just like video games. And I was like, it is just like video games. They've been training you. You're perfect for this. You're gonna get out of the trailer park and become the last starfighter because the rest of the starfighters were killed by the evil Emperor Zurg and the Codan Armada. And then instead, they shot once and got thrown back in time. And so I was very disappointed that we didn't get more space battle in what was at that time like a fully operational spaceship that I mean, we don't have to go into this, but I will note that everyone was just like very calm about being in this spaceship the whole time. And
It's their second time
and
in space.
very calm as it was crashing back to the earth. Just no one cared.
We trust Axe. He's
No,
an Andalite. These are your
no.
controls.
Yeah.
I like that you said that, like, even though Axe, when he got in there, was like, this is weird. Oh, I found the on button. Like, he was not instilling a ton
Dude,
of confidence.
That motherfucker was fronting so hard, and I love that. He's like, Andalites are way advanced. I totally know how to drive a stick,
Yeah,
guys.
he was like, our floppy disks are a bunch smaller. That was like his whole thing.
He kills it 3 times trying to get out of the Safeway parking lot.
I love the idea that this spaceship
guys,
has a
it's
clutch.
Yeah.
I think this carburetor's fucked up. It's not me, guys. Yeah, I would have loved some more space stuff, but
Yeah.
they shoot lasers and they both... This is weird. The lasers just hit, like, it's like a cool, like, Western moment where the bullets, like, hit each other and ting! Except for this rips a hole
Not
in
that
our
sorry, a
time-space
rip.
continuum.
Yeah, just rips a hole in reality. That's all. Casually.
Well-
that's fair enough. X says this almost never happens, but it's happened enough that it's actually got a lesson plan at
In
Andalite school.
You would think that they would, like, everyone would be like, man, we really got to stop using this weapon. It could potentially destroy all of reality.
There's got to be somebody studying this, right? Like, and there's got to be somebody trying to utilize this technology to go back in time and do weird shit. Like, we got a whole fucking Back to the Future element happening.
Yeah.
And no one's using this. Andalites are just familiar with this phenomenon, and they're not, like, actively, like, could we manipulate this to go back before the Yeerks make it to Earth and, like, set up a defense? Like,
Yeah. Why not?
this just seems like there's a lot of shit we could be doing if it's just, is it 2 Dracon beams that need to hit?
Yeah, exactly.
Apparently,
2
that's what
Dracon
we
beams
saw.
need to hit. It's Ghostbusters. They got to cross the stream.
Oh, no, you're never supposed to cross the streams.
Apparently not. You just rip a... Well, I guess this is what Egon was afraid of, was ripping a hole in space-time, but...
I assume the new Ghostbusters, that's what happens, because it's kids instead of adults, and they're just like, rip the time continuum.
No, if you not watched it, it's real good. I would recommend it.
I haven't. It's pre-ordered on Blu-ray. Don't tell me anything.
Oh, gosh.
You know I watch
on
all my
Blu-ray?
stuff in physical
Okay.
media.
Well, if you want to come over and watch it, it's real good. I liked it.
Well, with that, I'm going to rip open some
Rip
fanfic
off.
lines.
Okay, I don't have any, but
Oh, I
did
do.
want to say the
Okay.
opening cover says, "Here, kitty, kitty." Like when you open it up. So, because it's the Jaguar. So I wrote that one down. That's the only one I had, because I was like, that's really on the nose.
Usually I have one, so I'm taking this week off.
Wanted to
You
get out
guys
ahead of
do.
it before everyone took all the good ones.
That's
It's
pretty
like,
good.
Here, kitty, kitty.
I got one.
Okay. What
So
you got?
on page 6, when we're still square dancing, when Cassie shows up and Jake, grabbed her and swung her, but refuses, Okay, but she says, okay, here it is.
Oh, I actually did.
Yeah. There's a follow-up too. In a breathless
Yeah.
voice, she whispered, I just came by to tell you something. Tobias wants us. Right after school lets out. It's something big.
Can you say it in a more breathless voice?
Well, I have to read the follow-up first, and then we'll all give our best breathless deliveries of it.
No, you're Cassie. You have to do it.
Okay.
This is your delivery.
Page 12, a few pages, 6 small pages later, Jake is narrating. Yeah, I had mixed feelings. Tobias is one of us, a friend. More than a friend. So I can only assume that
Right.
Tobias is
That's
working.
Cassie and Tobias's couple name. Goodbye.
Yes, Tobias.
Mhm.
And Jake, how would you make a throuple name for that? Because,
I'll work on it.
I don't know. I assume I only know breathless to mean like a Katharine Hepburn impression, Quinn. For
You can't make me. Can't make me.
I'm trying.
No, you gotta get breath here. Wait, clutch it. Put your hand like here, like a woman who's just run to tell someone that something terrible has happened. Come on, let's hear it.
I might go do some of those push-ups and I'll listen to System of a Down. I'm going to tell you that I just came by to tell you something. Tobias wants us. Right after school lets out. It's something big.
Who is this? An accent?
Jimmy Stewart all of a sudden?
Got something back. We gotta go to Washington D.C. and tell the president. We have a bug
You want
fighter.
the moon, Jake? I'll grab a lasso and give you the moon. Oh.
I like
I'll
that
give you
your
the moon,
Jimmy
the bug
Stewart
fight-
is Kermit also.
Yeah, I don't have much other. I don't have a lot of range. Okay, so they wreck in South America, and they just get their asses handed to them, right?
By
like-
nature and
nature just
the
fucks them up.
Yerks.
The tiger gets bit by a snake almost immediately.
Oh yeah.
And then fucking the bear just gets fucked immediately by whatever, and then ants.
Yeah,
and
they were
this is
running
my
away
favorite
from
part of the
Pork
book.
Fajir.
We cannot get through a book without talking about ants. And I like, they're like, we know what to do. These ants, there's too many of them. We can't move this grizzly bear. Let's get another colony
We'll
of
fight.
ants to fight
We have to-
them.
Okay, I thought for sure when that started happening, I thought for sure that it was going to be like a Beauty and the Beast, and Tobias was going to get to save Rachel in this moment.
Wow.
And
That would have been really
instead,
good.
Jake was like, "We need more ants.
We should Brett, I like that so much that I think we should try to create a Sario rip and go back and have you tell KA to put that in the book.
All right, how do we do this? Everybody?
She could have
We're
done
gonna
that
cross some
because
streams.
knowing in the end that none of the story would matter, she could have done all friggin' wish fulfillment.
Yeah.
Like, you could have just had a full confrontation of like the weird triangle between Marco, Tobias, and Rachel. You could have just had, Cassie and Jake finally like admitting to each other their feelings because they were about to die.
You're not wrong.
Like,
yeah.
You could have done all of those things and,
Axe
then been
could have
like,
banged
oh,
a
but
tree.
Axe could have banged a tree in the South American rainforest and it never would have mattered. And that would have been great. Oh, man. Something I did think about, because the outlandish nature of this time travel plot had me thinking about the logistics of the other elements of this book and this book series. And something I was thinking about, two questions. One, is it correct that we learned that morphing is a thing that Andalites figured out like technology wise? Or is it that's right? It's not like inherent to their biology.
It is,
and they somehow learned to like pass it. Okay. My other thought was, if to morph you copy DNA exactly. Now DNA doesn't cover a lot of like variables. So this is what I was thinking about, like, what about the kind of just extenuating factors? Like, I know they talked about like if a thing has a scar or a broken arm or is like missing something, obviously they would morph it without that I guess like marred element of it or just like shifted element. But I was like, you know what DNA doesn't really code for is like muscle size, like things you would have to like develop over time. So I'm like, if you copy a gorilla or like even a person, you're going back to their like base settings, right? You wouldn't be copying them like exactly as they physically are.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was just thinking, I was like, if you morphed like a fat tiger, you would probably morph into like a skinnier tiger.
Yeah.
And does that make sense?
Yeah, no, that makes sense with the rules that they have set out.
Because I was like, so if you were like, heck yeah, this is a really powerful animal, but it like got that way through like work, then you wouldn't morph into the animal with that like much strength, right? you would morph until, I mean, it'd be stronger than a person. I don't know. I was getting into that because I was like, it's also interesting because then I was thinking about, okay, when they morph back and they're not like dying anymore, do they rebuild themselves? Are they ships of Theseus like every time? So are they going back to their like base DNA? Or are they just literally like are they reforming with the exact matter, or are they reforming based on their DNA?
Yeah.
So you've poked a hole in K.A. Applegate and the film Gattaca. Yeah. Thanks, Quinn.
I just had a lot of, well, I was like, man, that would be cool. Well, I also think it's funny that every time they're like, we have a 2-hour limit. I'm like, guys, but you've never told me that like you can't morph out and morph right back in. Like as far as I know, you could like morph out and get another 2 hours immediately after morphing back in.
Right. Yeah, they've done that.
Then I was thinking about, man, if I got to morph back to being a person and I was at my like base natural state, so it meant like any scarring, any blemishes, I would just be like morphing back to like me as my DNA codes me. So you'd be at the correct like age. I guess that's all your DNA would like code for.
If I couldn't keep my fucking gains,
that's what I'm saying.
Morph. Like I would never fucking morph. Are you fucking kidding me?
Like somewhat you would, because I think like health has an effect on your actual genetic code. But I don't think you would get all of that stuff. But I guess I don't know enough about DNA. When you build muscle, it doesn't like rewrite your DNA to include that muscle. Right?
Gattaca!
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure there's a pig in here that a human controller points at and says to shoot. And then an anaconda drops on a bunch of Hork-Bajir. That was fun.
Tom didn't like my science aside.
Let's not forget, Axe turns into a sexy monkey.
A sexy monkey.
Yeah.
A sexy lady.
We talked about it at the beginning a little bit, but let's talk about that sexy monkey.
Yeah, Axe does appear as a spider monkey, carrying the computer core. That's how he got away from all the Hork-Bajir and other controllers after they crash landed in South America a day earlier. Where everyone else
they crash landed and everyone was fine.
Everyone's totally fine. Except
Cassie has a cut.
Which she doesn't morph and fix. She just lets it be a cut.
Yeah.
See?
Oh, she also falls
weird.
to a school of piranhas or something like that.
Yeah, they almost get...
Rachel.
Yeah, Rachel's in a school of piranhas.
When she morphs back from the bear from being eaten by ants.
Yep, and that's when Axe shows up and is like, hey, I was a spider monkey. I think it's fine. All the males really liked it because I'm a sexy monkey.
Smooth.
That's the exact line.
Yep, that was it.
But then,
can you say it in a breathless voice?
Please, Tom, let's hear it.
Hang on, all right. And then nope, I can't.
He just says grunt. Why can none of you do this?
Sexy monkey.
I'm a sexy monkey.
No, I'm a sexy monkey. I gotta go to Washington, D.C. See?
Back there, huh? All right.
So I also like, because Axe in this book also admits. So I had this problem last book. I have the same problem in this book where they're asking Axe for answers, and he's like, "Oh no!" And then somebody will say one thing, and he's like, "Oh, here's that. That reminds me. I remember everything now."
Right.
But in Axe remembering everything about the Sario rip this time, he does say he wasn't paying a lot of attention in school that day because of, quote, this female. Now, Quinn,
yeah,
do you like it when guys refer to women as this female?
So Axe is now an incel.
Is that why he was kicked off the team?
Yeah,
that's why he was kicked out of the Animorphs.
At the very least, he's a neckbeard.
My poor boy.
Which is like gateway to inceldom. Axe is like Axe is like one accidental stumbling into a hot topic away from wearing a fedora. Like he did say that. Yeah.
What if he was like, there was this fucking babe that
That
day,
would
and Marco was just
rule.
like, Marco's like, yeah, what's up, Axe Man? And then they start hanging out more, and then Tobias gets jealous.
What if he was like, oh, but there was this tree that day that couldn't
Yeah. That I could handle. I'm not gonna stand for this language. Women love to be reduced to their biological components.
Yeah, hot.
Yeah, warm-blooded.
But he does like he like last book, I feel like he's directly confronted about like, hey, what is going on? And he's like, I don't know. As soon as he's like slightly reminded of something, then he just explains everything. So he kind of explains the Sario rip. And then just a little bit later, he explains, Axe does these things where Jake says to him like, hey, what about what, like, don't we need the bug fire to get back to our own time? And Axe, they're both monkeys. He shrugs his sexy monkey shoulders. And he's like, I don't know. I think ... ellipses. And then a full paragraph explaining, oh, we probably needed to exactly recreate the Sario Rift. And so we need the two, like, I don't know. There's definitely this whole thing with Axe where it's like, he has all the information that we need, but he doesn't ever communicate it until he's reminded of something like adjacent to that. Yeah.
His confidence is shook, Brent. He was kicked off the Animorphs.
Yeah, they kicked him out.
he's like, I want to prove my value, but I don't want to be wrong. Like,
It is this is incel behavior.
Oh no, we have to rehabilitate our boy Axe.
He was such a sweet boy. He's so innocent.
He's a sweet
he doesn't
boy.
know.
That's what happens. Nice guys.
Oh,
No, he's not a nice guy. He was innocent.
God, Axe, be a fuck boy. Be better.
Brent, is what you're well, something I observed from your pointing these instances out is Axe is like the worst type of info dump characters. Where it's like a character that's like super smart or something where the author can use them to be like, oh, I like studied that, or I was bored and happened to read a book about it. Like one of my favorite book series does it the best because I like it when they're just like, yeah, he read all the books in the library because he's a monk. And so every time a piece of information, he's just like, oh, I know that. And he just like tells them in like a funny, really like naive way. He's
What's
like,
that book series?
is that good? Yeah. No, it's a book series called what's the first? It's done in like a weird Star Wars order. So Rhaenyra Revelations, I think, are the last 3. It's Rhaenyra.
Cool.
It's by Michael J. Sullivan, and it has a character named Myron, and he's your info dump character, and he's a very like sheltered monk, but he like memorized all the books in his monastery's library, and so every once in a while they'll be like, we don't know this, and he'll just be like, oh, I can draw you the map of that. Like, so that being like upfront about that is to me way more delightful than when Axe is clearly there to be kind of their window into what's going on.
Yeah.
But he's always like, well, I'm not sure about this one, until they're like, come on, Axe, school? And or whatever they do. And he's like, oh, I do know everything. I'm like, no, I get why Axe is there. 1, to be not a part of the team. And 2, to provide us with information about the space reality that these kids are now embroiled in.
Yeah, I mean, because in this one, it's just like, oh, I have a theory. Like, they do have to drag it out of him. And then as soon as Jake presses him on, he says, I suspect we've moved backwards in time, but not far. We're existing simultaneously, both here and back home. There's 2 Marcos, 2 Cassies, 2 Avichos. And just like on, like, explicates the entire thing, but like has to be prodded into it.
It's 'cause
Whatever.
He's an alien. He's
Okay.
so weird.
Keep.
Does he
trying
also eat cats?
Yes, I'm pretty
He's
sure.
just like an elf.
I'm pretty sure
Elf.
he does. I mean, he's had to have at
Like
least
Alf's
tried
close
it.
relatives.
Okay.
So yeah, where are we? Anaconda. drops
Everyone
on
gets a monkey morph.
Everyone, everyone gets.
But
a
don't
monkey
worry.
morph.
Wait. Okay, yeah.
Jake's
Yeah,
is a
you're right.
boy
I was like-
monkey.
Of course. He's got to be such a man.
Does it say that in the book? I don't remember that.
remember
It
either.
specifically has he, him pronouns for Jake's monkey.
Wow.
Of course.
Wow. Did they fling poop at each other, do you think? Because I feel like if I was a monkey, the bit about monkeys throwing poo would be the first thing I'd do.
Yeah.
I'd be like,
You at
hey,
least
dude, I'm
try
gonna throw
it.
some shit at you, bro.
Just try it.
Just hang out, whatever.
Anyway, so what are
Incel behavior.
Throwing poop at each other?
Okay, just remember we have to take a break to listen to these ads for other podcasts, and then we'll be right back.
Oh, hey, do you like action movies?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, do you like watching them with your best friend?
Of course.
I don't have friends. I got family.
Well, do you listen to podcasts?
Yeah.
Hey, listen!
Well, do I have a podcast for you? It's called the Monday Movie Boys. We get together and we watch action movies, and then we plan a party around them and hang out and chat. It's pretty great. You guys should come check it out.
Only on patreon.com/dbimprovcollective.
Okay, we're back. They all have monkey morphs.
All monkeys.
No, I have monkey morphs. What are they trying to get the computer? They're trying to sneak by and get the ship.
Because they decide that we have to, based on what they know from what Axe has divulged so far, we have to recreate exactly the moment that happened at the Sario Rip. And that means that we have to have the blade ship and the, what's it called? TIE fighter? What is it called?
The experiment.
The TIE fighter.
Yeah, it's
The
TIE
bug-
fighter.
Bug fighter.
Fighter. And we have to shoot at each other. We have to recreate it to reset. Meanwhile, Jacob has met a local.
Oh, Jesus.
And they've communicated in what we think is maybe Portuguese, maybe Spanish.
Portuguese.
We also find out, finally, that that Marco, grandmother, native Spanish speaker, his mom, also, I think, native Spanish speaker. So we get a little bit of his, like, he's like, oh yeah, I can tell that they're calling... that they're calling us the Espirito Macaco, the monkey spirit,
The monkey spirit.
And that they're calling the Hork-Bajir the Diablos, the devils. Also, Hork-Bajir have blades on their foreheads, I found out.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know. I didn't piece that together.
Yeah, they look crazy.
Yeah, they
So
got
I'm-
blades everywhere.
I'm currently looking at an anagram generator for Sario Rip to see if it is just words from Lord of the Rings.
Okay.
I'll let you know.
Here's my
I'll let
whole
you know.
question. Here's my whole question. We've got some great segments coming up, everybody. Because one of my questions early on, as soon as we get into the forest, I'm like, okay, are we going to have like the nature versus technology has to save us? Literally, then on page 122, we get this quote. The Hork-Bajir and the controllers at this point are just like destroying everything. They're destroying the animals. They're destroying the trees. And Jake says, I know there's a difference between human life and the lives of other animals. I know there's a difference between human lives and the lives of trees. But still, that mindless, pointless massacre of trees and the animals in them made me sick. I wrote, where are the ants? Where are the ants?
Maybe that's what would happen if Axe did finally get together with a tree. then he'd become a real man. Then you'd have like a bat mitzvah or bar mitzvah.
I love this picture of this Hork-Bajir. Okay.
You have to share that when you shoot out the thing.
Damn. So on your sexy cartoon animals,
I'm gonna Google that. Sexy cartoon animal.
Beasley, would you add this Hork-Bajir, this sexy? Look, he's fucking licking his lips.
Dude.
He's a tough
He's got some good definition.
Yeah.
And yeah, he's that dude's ready to go to the gym and pump. Now I do think he's in like a calorie deficiency because I can see clearly his abs. I personally would like him to probably just forever bulk. You know, that's just where my heart's at. But yeah, this dude's killing it. Hork-Bajir Himbo. That's what he's called.
Bagheera? Sorry.
He's a bear. I mean,
Bagheera's not. No, he's like a panther.
Oh, Baloo is what I was.
Yeah. Sorry, I wouldn't think of Bagheera.
So I don't know if this is true, but I believe it is. If you speak Spanish in like Portugal, they'll treat you like shit because they don't like Spanish speaking.
Yeah, it's
because there's a whole thing
different.
about
It's not Portuguese.
Quite
it's
different.
language.
It's not Portuguese.
Yeah.
And yeah, there's like a whole thing about that. So them being like, I know Spanish, so Portugal's basically are the same thing. And it's like, I don't know.
Oh, the Beast from Beauty and the Beast was a big one for people. Yeah. I'm learning a lot from the internet right now.
Ooh.
Goofy's teenage son.
Max.
They didn't put his name. It
Just said he was
Goofy's
Goofy's
Max.
son.
There's
Max,
what's
I
her
think-
name?
Goofy's
Max.
dead wife.
Jesus.
Anyway, so I think Jake gets a Jaguar morph here.
Yeah.
Something like that. They all get a Jaguar morph.
Well, they rest because they're so tired
Yeah.
after they basically enlist these native folks to go fucking kill the devils. And I don't know. I thought at the end when they were like, there should be more Hork-Bajir here, we were going to get some kind of thing like, these motherfuckers have been fucking up Hork-Bajir, but
Yeah.
we don't.
I thought they were Ewoks. I mean, that's what I thought that I was like,
Yeah.
they're not Ints, are they Ewoks?
Yeah, it feels very much like that's where it was going, but much like the rest of this book, this all just falls apart.
Yeah.
Okay. We get the name.
Red.
Huh?
I just found a Reddit thing that says that is Reddit. In your opinion, who's the hottest cartoon character of all time? This is cartoon character, so it doesn't have to be an animal.
What have we got?
No.
Top 5.
Jessica Rabbit is the first one on that one.
Sure.
Hold on. This one has more answers. Move to that one. Jessica Rabbit again. The Pixar lamp. Lola Bunny. Shrek. Disney's Robin Hood. Thank you. All right. Did you one of the top comments is, did you ever find Bugs Bunny attractive when he put on a dress and played a girl bunny? Brent is
Bugs.
shaking his head. No, he did not.
We can't even play that for laughs, Bugs. Come on. Do better.
Okay.
It's not
Ooh.
funny that you wear a dress.
Sure. That's a good point.
While you're looking at that, I did write down related to these native folks.
Mm.
I
Polo?
did draw this like equation. Y'all should be proud of me. It's like a math thing. And here's what it is.
What percentage of your brain did you use?
100%. Our kids are Animorphs over the rainforest equals Polo and the native folks over the mall at Christmas. Because Jake says that us being in the rainforest, where we're like overwhelmed, like all of the species, all the animals, all the plants, boy, the only thing I can imagine for these folks that would be a similar experience would be if they could only go to the mall at Christmas.
Jesus.
So that's when Visser 3 shows up and turns into a Lurdathak.
Okay, the final.
No, he was an anaconda first, bro.
Well-
I've been saying that. I've been trying to progress us.
Aside from like the weird like
Well, he was an-
simplistic view of native peoples, which was a hard thing probably to broach, I would say we got a lot of just explicit like KA being like, yeah, the Earth.
Yep.
It's pretty cool, and we should save it.
Rachel's like, okay, save it. Cassie's like, oh, Yerk's want to destroy this. Axe is like, these trees make me horny. They're all like,
Oh, a lot
gotta
of talk
save
about
this.
evolution too.
Evolution is in it.
Which I was like, oh, KA, pushing some scientific thinking.
Yeah, I agree with that actually, and in fact, there was one of these. I made a note on page 117 where Cassie does get to be a little bit like Axe, where she just has this knowledge, because Jake says to her like, "Hey, I don't know. I think that they're morphed as monkeys." And Jake is like, oh, this feels familiar, like swinging through trees and on vines and stuff. And by the way, we're about to have a very special tree trunk time segment on this.
Ooh,
Something to look forward to. Jake is like, this feels great. This feels like I know this. And Cassie says, it's called brachiating, I think. But then she goes into this thing about evolution, like, yeah, our human ancestors lived in trees and like, yeah, swung through trees like they lived in the trees. We know how to do this as part of our ancestral DNA as we evolved as a species. I agree. In 1997, to be like, yeah, we fucking evolved for 1 billion years. Awesome. Thank you, K. Applegate. Thank you.
She did it.
Okay, our final thing, Tom.
I'm just trying to get...
If that is your real name.
Yeah, what is the other?
That sounded
Tom
like...
Alpha. What is this one?
What's our special tree trunk time?
Well, it has to. Okay, it's time for that. I'll play the intro song, which I clearly know. Okay, with the final, I'm going to call it shenanigan, even though we haven't talked about shenanigans. Our Animorphs decide we have to. Here's how we can recreate the Sario rip. We're going to sneak on to Visser 3's blade ship because he certainly knows about a Sario rip. He's going to be trying to recreate it. He got the blade ship back there. All we have to do is sneak onto that blade ship. Visser 3 will do the work for us. Now, Visser 3 knows the same thing. This is the first time we've seen Visser 3 have any intelligence whatsoever. So, our little Animorphs are morphed as monkeys. They're trying to sneak on the ship. Visser 3, meanwhile, is morphed as a Lurdathak. Lurdathak? Can all of you try to say that breathlessly?
Lurdathak.
Lurdathak. Gross.
It was
What the
weird
fuck? I'm
that
trying.
it was weird that he kept going though. Was the
Yeah.
thing? It was like you're
Because
supposed
I
to
was
be
breathless.
You're
I
supposed
was
to be
running
out of breath,
breath.
but it just like breath kept coming though. It was
Okay,
like
Tom's
I wasn't
back.
out of it
Tom's back in. Aaron's.
Well, you've been angling for this all night. Checkmate, I guess, to me. Fucking
Scholastic, Podcastic,
goddamn
and
it.
Beasley. Oh no.
You didn't participate in the.
And I'm
animal
Aaron.
Character. You did
Guys,
your breathless thing too
I
long
wore
and
my
weird.
tiger
I'm
shirt
going to talk
because
about
it's
that
a
when we
Jake
get to
book.
Morphin time. I've been saving it. Do you want to talk about it now?
Okay.
No.
Beasley has a great tiger shirt on.
You do have a great tiger
Yes.
shirt. It's a cool tiger shirt.
I wore it just for the
The
occasion.
rest of us are just wearing sweaters.
Tis the season.
That's why we're on the team.
Yeah. Team sweater.
Sounds like a lame ass team. Fuck you guys.
I got a U.S. Forest Service sweater on.
That feels
Department of
very
Agriculture.
Animorphs.
It does feel very
Yeah.
Animorphs.
My mom got this for me at the church rummage sale.
Recently?
Thanks, Mom. No, like a few years ago, she was like, I saw this and thought you would like it. And I was like, you do know me. like every year for Christmas, she gives me something and I'm like, it's fucking weird, but okay. You have not picked up anything. And this was like the one thing where I was like, you did it. You did something right.
You pulled
This
it off.
hold on. It's partially related. So let me show you a thing my parents got me for Christmas this year.
Please.
That is very strange and sitting in my living room.
Please.
Obviously, we must see this.
Okay. Any guesses?
Okay. It's related.
Not really. Well,
You said it was.
it is an animal.
I
Involves
think
an
it's
animal.
an Espirito Macaco.
Ooh, that's fun.
I think it's a bug in a jar.
I wish. It is in fact a statue of a cat that like is standing like that doesn't look like a real like house cat, which I'm a cat. I like cats. But they got me this weird like Puss in Boots fantasy cat.
That's what
It
looks
is not
like.
wearing boots, but I did sit it in my corner in my living room because I don't know what to
Does
do.
it stand on two legs?
It does stand on its legs, like in the corner, and it looks like upward. It's
Yeah, I don't.
this is over a foot. It's like over a foot tall.
Can you
It's
put like
very
a anarchist flag in its little hands to hold?
We
There you
could.
go.
Could probably. That would be fun. Yeah. It's not I have no idea what it's made out of. It's not metal. Don't know where they would have even been to procure this. Unless my dad like specifically searched the internet for like small cat statue.
Terrifying trap cat souls.
Yeah. So anyway, this U.S. Forestry Service sweater is like the most my parents have ever nailed it, just on the fly.
Hell yeah.
But I do have this haunted cat statue.
It seems like it could be a bookend or some shit, right?
Yeah.
They were like, you could put it outside. I was like, what? No, I don't know. I don't know what to do with it. Some kid would steal it.
For sure. It's too cool.
I know. It's going to sit with me now. Oh, it's so weird.
It will judge you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to pass it around. You guys can record with it sitting.
I'll just keep forgetting that it's not real and giving it treats.
Yeah, just a pile of them next
It's
to him.
very small. Like a normal cat would be much bigger.
No, challenge accepted. Next episode, that's going to be in someone else's home.
I mean, we should name it. Probably. There.
Okay. Everybody, we're trying to sneak on Visser 3's blade ship, but Visser 3 has laid a trap. He
That
is
son of a
morphed.
biscuit.
Well, we all just said Lurdathak.
Lurdathak.
That was my nickname in high school. You're all off the team. This is the worst ASMR.
Lurdathak.
Don't say
Lurdathak.
It's tree trunk time, everybody. Legs looks like tree trunks. She's got them tree trunk legs. Each is big around as a tree trunk.
As a tree trunk.
Each is big around as a redwood tree.
As round as a redwood.
A trunk as thick as a small tree. Her big tree stump leg.
Yes,
They mentioned
they
her
all
tree
respect
trunk
it.
legs. It's not being compared to the trunk of a tree. Who knows? Big tree trunk legs.
Tree trunk legs.
Tree trunk legs.
Legs like tree trunks.
Based on what we know, is that Andalites require a tree to mate, and that Rachel has tree trunk legs. I think we go with the tree trunk
The
legs.
tree trunk legs are it.
Tree trunk time. It's a very special edition of Tree Trunk Time because
Ooh.
this whole book, I have been reading this book. As always, I have my notes. Is there any time when K. Applegate compares anything, uses a simile to say this thing is like a tree trunk? Now on page, here's the issue. We actually had lots of things that were actually tree trunks this time. We had plants growing out of smooth trunks of trees. We had tree trunks on page 76, 114. A tree trunk on 121 exploded ahead when those controllers were just blasting the forest down. And then on page 154, Visser 3 has morphed a Lurdathak, a creature from the Hork-Bajir homeworld. And Jake says, it was like some gnarled old tree come to life. And then 2 pages later, and I'm going to read you what my notes say for page 156. Well, my notes just say no, 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 no. And here's the writing. We're writing about there's no way to stop the Lurdathak. It was safe, surrounded by its vine tentacles. The only vulnerable part was the head, and it was surrounded by a forest of the... Wait a minute. Not like vines. Not like tentacles. Wrong way to think, Jake, I realized. Branches. Like branches. Now, K. Applegate does not say like tree trunks. She does say that previously when talking about this morph, but now she does say it is like branches. And she specifically has Jake call out the other insufficient similes. And the only one that counts is the one like branches. Now, I have been complaining about this simile of comparing things to trunks since literally our first episode when we read the first Animorphs book.
Insert super.
So if K.A. Applegate has been building to saying no, not tentacles, not vines, no other simile will do.
This time
This
it
time
matters.
This time, the tree trunks, the branches. And that's how Jake morphs monkey and swings through those branches of the Lurdathak. Okay, outro track.
I was confused here. He was Jaguar when it first happened, right?
Yes.
Then he morphed human and then morphed to a monkey.
Well, he's like running and morphed human, and then I think that all happened in like one
Okay.
foul.
I was very confused. And I was like, wait, what? How did he get to be a monkey? Because I just missed it. I don't remember. But whatever. It's fine because it doesn't matter because this abruptly blinks out, right?
Yeah, then at the end of the book,
killed.
we find out nothing mattered.
Yeah.
None of it ever happened.
All of the other
It was all the
Animorphs.
dream. I used to read Word Up magazine.
All of the other Animorphs.
Used to laugh and call him names.
Dreams last for so long, even after you're gone.
They're gone.
God
Yeah.
I know
You love
that you love me. That's what Jake should have said to Cassie.
You should have.
All of the other Animorphs are monkeys and a bird, and Visser 3's Lurdathak eats them. Only Jake is left. Polo throws him a spear, a poisoned tip spear. Jake rams that down into Visser 3, morphs as Lurdathak, falls, blackout to the final chapter. Our little Animorphs are back where they started, trying to decide if they're going to go into the safe way or not.
I mean, not for meat, that's for sure. We established that at the beginning of the episode. Go to a Kroger.
Yeah.
That second Tom Morph is there. Rachel's like, are we going to do this or not? Jake is like, hey, or not. Axe explains, well, I did have another idea. Maybe you don't have to recreate the Sario rip. Maybe you could just die. And that'll reset your consciousness back to the other you. And so Jake makes the decision not to start this and not to start this whole Sario rip, not to create these two separate universes. And so none of it ever happened, baby.
Could have had all of our dreams come true.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I think we just skip over favorite morphs because the only morph that actually mattered was the birds.
Beasley.
They only did birds this whole thing.
On
When
flies.
did Yeah.
No, the flies didn't happen, did they?
No, it's
Weren't
because
they across the
Oh.
street?
yeah, it's
That's
before-
true.
Oh yeah, I guess so.
I wanted to do morphing
right.
time, Beasley. I wanted to do morphing time because you wore your fucking sexy tiger shirt.
Talk.
Why was the tiger
You-
ineffective? Like, Jake was like, this tiger sucks. He got bit by a snake. I was like, tigers are probably fine.
Tiger was
Probably
pretty good in
fine
the
down
jungle
there.
at first. Yeah.
He was talking it up. It was just that it's Jake and he sucks.
He got by a cobra.
Yeah,
Or a cobra-like entity.
he got too confident, and the snake bit him.
Oh man.
Sure,
we can do some
I
morphin'
wanna do
time.
morphin'
even though
time.
even if they don't count.
Yeah, I still
Even
want to
if
do.
they don't
I want
count.
to do morphin' time though. I got a good one.
Let's go.
It's morphing time.
Let's
This
go.
is
Tom.
morphin'
Tom,
time.
get up there.
All right, my favorite morph was when Visser was an anaconda and drops on his own Hork-Bajir, and is like, "Why are you shooting? I
Yeah,
could have
that
been me."
This is pretty good.
That was awesome because they were
That
just
was great.
shooting every animal. I mean, I feel like we have said this. We have predicted this the best. They are just shooting every animal they
Every
see.
animal.
Like, this could be an Andalite.
Yeah.
I like that the human controller was like, I don't know what animals live in the jungle. That pig shouldn't fucking be here. And I was like, that is about the knowledge like an American human would have
Mhm.
of jungle
Hell
animals.
yeah.
That was very relatable. Also, honestly, wild pigs are fucking dangerous as hell. But I was like, it would be interesting for me with human knowledge to be like, if I could morph any earth animal, wild boar, wild pig, number one, the first animal I'm getting.
Okay, I swear there's another one of these books that we either have read or I read as a child where wild boars are a major issue. It wasn't Hatcher or Island of the Blue Dolphins, right?
It's one of the.
It's a similar one.
Yeah, that.
Where it's like you got to get in the tree to avoid them. I feel like
Oh, they're really bad.
they're the worst.
Anyway,
I like-
what? All right, morphin' time. What do you guys got?
I'll say the man, I can't Lardathak.
Yeah.
I always like when we get to see like the wait. Okay. I like when we get to see the like true limits of this power, or like the big uses. I think that's cool as hell. So even though he's the bad guy, I mean, I guess Tom did, but that was like a fun sitcom moment.
Yeah, that was fun.
Like infighting. This was like an enemy morph. But that I mean, that's when KA really gets to like flex those muscles and be like, we got all the space. What is this thing? What is this thing? It's branches. But yeah, I like that, and that's why I wish our Animorphs might look at their friend Axe as an opportunity rather than just an encyclopedia of knowledge. Anyway, that's what I'll say. It was probably really the flies, because I always like when they have to morph insects.
Ew. Ew.
I like it because it's the most useful. They should have more flies at the end. Or they should find an insect that can see decently and like use that all the time.
What do we think that is, though? What do we think that is?
I'm gonna
What's
look
an
it up.
insect that can see? What's the sexiest insect that can see?
All right, let's get that in the Google search history. Sexiest insect that can see.
Guys, I don't know if we've called this out before, but I'm realizing that Cassie and Marco are two people of color, and they have the exact same morphs in almost every book, unless it's a specific book
wolves,
for them.
they turn to the wolves briefly.
The ospreys,
yeah,
like in this book, they turn to ospreys, housefly, wolf, and jaguar with everyone else at the end, and spider monkeys. But outside of that, they always morph the same bird, and they always morph wolves. They have the same exact like attack creatures, unless he goes gorilla in his own book. I don't know. That's weird. I was going to say my favorite morph was the osprey, because if we remember from last episode, a Peregrine falcon, aka Jake's favorite bird morph, took a shot at Marco, and I hope that evolves. And Marco's like, man, fuck you and your falcon. And he starts getting like onto Bias's level of like bird discrimination. Fuck that guy. This guy fucking, so you took a fucking shot at me, dude? I'm an osprey, you little bitch. Like, so that was my favorite morph of this, because we had a call back to the last book.
Well, then mine has to be that sexy, horny monkey morph. I don't know. I thought that we might actually get in. I mean, I feel like it's been inferred with Axe just a little bit. We got Axe both being a sexy monkey and also being into, quote, this female. I thought maybe we were going to get into it a little bit more with him. So I did like that Axe was a sexy monkey. And I just wish that everybody had just like leaned into that, you know?
That's true. The monkeys are a great morph to have. I'm into it.
But they don't have it. They don't have it because this timeline doesn't
they
exist.
don't.
They don't have it.
Nothing.
None of them actually have it.
No.
Man, I was excited about that jaguar morph.
Do you guys want to hear what animal kills the most humans in the Amazon?
Is it mosquitoes?
Probably something poison. Yeah, mosquitoes is a good guess.
It's a fucking bull shark. I guess they're really
Oh
common.
yeah,
Oh,
those
in the
things are
river?
assholes.
Shit ton. They're fresh and salt water, and they fuck shit
Oh yeah,
up.
they're overly aggressive. Those things are assholes.
Yeah, it's terrifying.
Yeah.
Are you ready to hear about Animorphs number 12, The Reaction?
Yeah.
Ooh, bring it on, baby.
It's too many pages. We'll skip around. What the? I held up my left hand. It was green, too. Getting greener as I watched. Getting rougher. Changing. Morphing. There were scales forming on my skin, crawling on my arms. I bolted from the chair and raced for my full-length mirror. My face was just beginning to bulge out. A huge, long, black-green snout. This is something you never want to actually see. And this is too many pages, so we're going to skip. Spring! The springs in my mattress popped as my bulk crushed them.
Well, that's the line.
I was...
Yeah. Yep, that's it.
I was too big for the room. Bigger even than the crocodile. My bookshelves fell over. My desk slammed against the wall. Sparks shot from my computer and the screen went blank. Too big for the room. I was big enough to be weighed in tons, not pounds. I was morphing a full-grown African elephant in my small bedroom. Creak! Oh no, I whispered. I could literally feel the floor sinking under my impossible weight. My head was shoved up against the ceiling. Crunch! With a scream of twisting wood, the floor gave way. That's Animorphs number 12, the reaction. And then the final back cover in here is, you think you know the Animorphs, but you know nothing until you know my story. The Andalite Chronicle is coming to a bookstore this November.
So exciting.
Yeah.
It's going to be so good.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye.
Scholastic Podcastic is produced by DB Improv Collective and not affiliated with Scholastic Publishing. To keep up with all DB Improv podcasts, live shows, and other projects, check out dbimprovcollective.com. For full access to all of our content, become a supporter at Patreon and follow us on Instagram and Facebook. That's all at DB Improv Collective. If you enjoyed the show, subscribe, or even better, tell some friends. And thank you for listening.